Okay, good day everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be discussing One Piece chapter 1019. Of course, spoiler warning. Um, Also, if you're new here, consider hitting the subscribe button, hitting like, turning the little bell notification on for future videos because I do a lot of videos, like 4 videos a week. So yeah, let's jump into the chapter now. So first things first, the cover of Jump this week is actually Luffy, and he's on the cover in what seems to be the Olympic tracksuit. So I guess that's in commemoration of Olympics beginning next week. Um, we also have a Where's Wally collab with One Piece as well, where on the Where's Wally thing we see a lot of or all of the different One Piece characters spread out throughout it. Um, and then in honor of I believe One Piece's 24th year of serialization, we have a cover page or color spread, and it is basically all the Straw Hats, Jinbei included this time, as well because we only seen Jinbei in a few since he's officially joined the crew, and basically all the Straw Hats are riding on these big giant whale sharks, I believe they are. These are the same sharks he called at Impel Down as well, so pretty cool. So yeah, let's dive straight into the actual chapter now. And the chapter starts off and we see Queen unleashing a barrage of laser beams and we see them exploding in the background fighting Sanji. And Sanji is smiling and he says, the tech or this tech that you're using to fire a laser, Franky would love to get his hands on this kind of technology. We then cut from Sanji now to Zoro. And we see Miyagi and the other doctor trying to inject him with the miracle drug then, and Zoro is screaming, are you sure about this, because they're wondering if they inject him through the bandages or take off the bandages or what to do. So that's pretty funny. We then get another cutaway, and this time we cut away to the polar tang, and we see that Law's crew has been doing CPR on Luffy and they made him cough up all the water, but he's still unconscious. So they're wondering, what should we do? If Law was here, he would know what to do. So should we give him an injection? Should we push some medicine or pills down his throat? What do we do? How do we deal with this? Because he's still pale. And just when they're about to do something, we see Luffy cough and he wakes up and screams meat. As usual, Luffy and meat. Meat and milk is his cure for everything. We then cut away again, and this time we cut away to the Skull Dome, the right brain tower in the Skull Dome, and we see more of the Iron troops is the Armored Squad, I believe, or Iron Armored Squad, basically Sasaki squad, um, helping Franky out now, and they're telling him to leave the scrubs to them. And he's confused. He was like, "But you're his underlings, right?" But he's just like, "Well, more help for me." And we see Sasaki and Franky have a stay off kinda, and they're like, Franky's like, "I swear I've dealt you a couple of blows already." And basically Franky is commending him on his resilience. And Sasaki is telling him to get out of my way. And he's like, apparently all of the former, or all of our followers in the live fall, most of them have changed sides, or a lot of them have changed sides. And he tells Franky that he's going to slaughter anyone who stands in his way. And this is where we get the reveal of his hybrid form. Because he stands up on all, well, he was on all fours before, but he stands up on all twos now, and he transforms into his hybrid form. And we see his hybrid form is basically a bulkier him, because he was a bit bulky before. So he's taller, and we have the Triceratops's ring that is usually around their neck, around his neck, and he's taller than General Franky. So that's interesting. He got taller, and we see the V slash on his stomach from where Franky attacked him previously. He then changes or uses his sword, and it I don't know how to describe this, but like the blades flip open, and he calls it screw sword, trick mechanism, screw sword. In the unofficial, it was something else, Kagemusha or something to that effect, helix sword. But basically, it looks like his sword starts to vibrate really quickly, and he and Franky begin to Franky's like that sword, I'm not stepping back, but that sword is kind of freaky. Um, and this is where it gets interesting because some of the armored squad ask if he wants help, but Franky tells them no to go help the others. And this is where Sasaki's ring around his neck, that is, I guess, the shield that the Triceratops usually have, starts to rotate slowly around his neck and speed up. And Sasaki is like, you know, no one in this area is on my side anymore, so I could use this. And it starts to spin like a propeller, and he takes off like a helicopter up in the air. This was my face when I saw that, cause like um never seen a Triceratops do that before. Um, and Frank is like, is that how dinosaurs work? 'Cause he has the same facial expression as me. And the armored guys are telling him that to watch out because of this move. And one thing to note is the flying kind of reminds me a lot of, or it is similar to Buffalo when Frankie fought Baby Five Hand Buffalo. It reminds me a lot of how Buffalo flied with his hair on his head, basically, because it looks like that, basically. So, I mean, it's cool, but I think he should have done, Oda should have done something a little bit different because it just reminds me of a Zoan type Buffalo now. So yeah, and then Frankie Frankie's watching on while Sasaki uses his helioceptor helicept heliceratops. Yeah, I stuttered with that one. Heliceratops. Right. Helicopter, ceratops, triceratops, heliceratops. Join them together. And he proceeds to attack his own men. Because he's swinging the sword as well as the scales on his neck, or the shield on his neck is spinning. And we see it's very strong because it starts breaking the swords of some of the members. It even cuts off the arms of this one of his crew here. One of her insect arms, it cuts it off. And Frankie screams out, "You guys!" And he flies. Sasaki flies up into the air again, and he then proceeds to fly directly towards Frankie. And Frankie is like, he's surprised at how fast and this mobility that Sasaki has, and he's like, I wasn't expecting an aerial battle. And Sasaki's retort was, this is what a Triceratops does, which again, I don't think Triceratopses ever flew. Um, and Frankie's like, wow, I had no idea that the propeller really speeds you up to this extreme level. So we get Sasaki getting ready to do a new attack. So he goes down on all fours and sheaths his sword. And he's about to charge, so Frankie uses General Shield. However, the move, Sasaki actually spins the shield on his neck the other way, and it propels him backwards. So it shocks Frankie. He's like, why are you going backwards? And Sasaki is like, the more room I have, basically, is the more momentum I could generate, the stronger the attack, the faster the speed. So he went back to gain distance to then charge forward. So he then propels himself using Bullet Triceratops or Bullet Triceratops. I think the unofficial had some cooler names for it, but basically he charges head on into Frankie, and Frankie manages to block it, but while he's blocking it, Frankie says that his shoulder rockets are going to explode because they're loaded, and it does proceed to explode. And that leads to Frankie doing, you know what? While you charging at me, because Sasaki is kind of off the ground now, so Frankie takes this momentum and uses it for himself, and he turns it into the general suplex. So he grabs Sasaki around the waist and suplexes him into the ground. um, and this leads to Franky, mentioning that you may be tough all over, but the wound on your stomach is bleeding pretty badly. So Franky pulls out his Franken sword and tries to use the V for victory slash on his stomach again, but Sasaki again flies up into the air to dodge. And he lands again on the ground, and this leads to Franky basically saying, I'm not good at sword fighting. And Sasaki realizes, Franky's V for victory sword is causing damage, so let's just get rid of that, and he destroys Franky's Franken sword. So yeah, and then Franky is like, you know what? It's time for my last resort ultimate move. So Franky begins to run because he's trying to get space as well. And Sasaki uses the bull triceratops again to charge forward. And while charging forward, we see Franky use or prepares to fire and fires his Gao cannon portable version, General Cannon. And we see a huge explosion, and we see Sasaki's eyes white out as he's in the air. And we think this is where Franky wins, but he opens his eyes again and he's like, show a bit of respect, because we at the Toby Roper, we are supposed to be some of the strongest members of Kaido's crew. So he pissed off Sasaki, and Sasaki is like, if I have to take both of us out, so be it. And he uses a next new attack called Magnum Ceratops. And he basically dives headfirst, spinning his propellers into the Shogun Franky, or Franky General. And when he does this, we see essentially what happened is Franky slid out of the General Franky and got a clear shot at Sasaki's stomach. That's a lot to say. And uses his radical beam on his stomach. And he shoots him, and it causes a huge explosion. And we see Sasaki fall to the ground, his eyes whited out now. And I think that is it for the Franky and Sasaki fight, maybe. We then cut away again to the top of the Skull Dome, or the rooftop. And we see sparks flying all over. And Kaido is telling Yamato that, I recognize your strength. You'd be a strong asset to my military force, or you'd be a strong soldier and very valuable. And Yamato is like, is that any way of Ada is supposed to speak to his son or his child? And Kaido's retort is, I worked very hard to acquire this devil fruit, but I didn't intend for you to eat it. And Yamato's retort to that is, I was hungry, and I didn't know that this would happen either. Plus, I wanted to be a pirate and set sail, and now I can't even swim because I ate this fruit. So basically, Yamato was kind of like Luffy and just ate the fruit because she was hungry. But she says that what made her strong is not just the many times Kaido and her fought and he tried to kill her, but it was kind of the wills, not just the coughs, but everything made her stronger. And we then get a nice panel with both of them side by side, kind of facing each other. And she says she does it for the sake of this country, or she wouldn't be able to call herself Odin if she ran away. And then we get a clear reveal, I guess, of her face and what her hybrid form looks like. And it looks pretty dope. So this is what it looks like. And the chapter ends there, and of course no chapter until August 1st, because I think all chapters are on a break next week for the Olympics. But yeah, and the chapter ends there. So a few things to note. First, again, Sasaki reminds me of a stronger version of Buffalo. And the important thing now is, what is Yamato's devil fruit? So in Japanese myth, there's something called the Kirin. I think it's also in the Chinese folklore as well, and it's known as a unicorn, some form of unicorn. But in Japanese it's called the Kirin. And I think this is what she may be. I'll drop a picture of the Kirin on the screen for you to see. You all may know Kirin from Naruto. It was Sasuke's ultimate move. But essentially, if you look at this picture of the Kirin, you'll see it has the two horns. It also has the little shoulder flames that we see Yamato has. Um, and it is a legendary creature as well. And it is known to show up, I believe, in folklore when a great ruler is about to fall or is falling from throne or grace. So it would tie in kinda with the aesthetic that Kaido is the great ruler here and he's about to fall or lose his throne. So yeah, um, so I think it may be the Kirin. We'll have to wait until August 1st to see if Oda does a little text box and officially states what it is, or if one of them mention what it is. But yeah, all in all, this was a really dope chapter. I enjoyed seeing Franky fight Sasaki and getting the upper hand and using his brain and realizing um, Sasaki's only weakness is his underbelly and using that to his advantage. However, I would have liked to see Franky maybe unlock armament haki here to try to be more beefy and fit the aesthetic of fighting like a dinosaur known for the shield on its neck. So maybe I would have liked to see Franky try to break that shield with armament haki somehow. But all in all, good chapter. It seems that all the final fights are set in stone and we'll be hopping through one by one, maybe to see the rest of the Tobiroko fights end. Because we still have Black Maria versus Robin and Brooke to see. So maybe we'll get that next chapter or not. I don't know. And I believe there's maybe someone else we still haven't seen in a while, and that's X Drake. So we need to see what's up with him. Who has been taken out, Ulti has been taken out, Page 1 has been taken out, Sasaki has been taken out. So all that's left really is X Drake, and we know he's on the good side, so maybe he and Hawkins will fight. And then we know, again, Black Maria. So yeah, all in all, good chapter. Again, if you're new here, consider hitting the subscribe button, hitting like, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.